In this video, we're going to talk about the EB3 visa processing times. We're going to explain why they are as long as they are. We're going to explain how the government shutdown affects EB3 visa processing times. And we're going to show you, if you stick around to the end, how you can directly improve EB3 processing times. So let's get into it. The first, by the way, this is our website, EB3.Work. If you click on the Applicants tab and just a little link under it, it goes through our process, and so you can kind of see every step of how we work. So let's get back to processing times. The first step of the EB3 visa process in terms of immigration filing is called PERM. And if you just Google PERM processing time, the first result should be flag.dol.gov. This is the government Department of Labor website where the PERM is filed. Now, because there's a government shutdown, if you click on it, you're going to get this under maintenance page. And that's because the Department of Labor, Office of Labor Certification, OFLC, is closed during this government shutdown. And the reason is it is not a fee-based agency, meaning that there's no fee to file a PERM application. So if your PERM is already pending, it's just frozen. Everything is fine. It's frozen in terms of processing times. And once the government shutdown ends, which hopefully should be soon, this website will be back up. The Department of Labor employees will come back to work, and your PERM will be adjudicated. Now, if you go back to our last processing time video before October 1st, the Department of Labor was processing PERM cases that were filed in June, and starting July of 2024. It's October 2025 right now, so that's about 16 months. So that is what PERM is taking right now, about 16 months. Step 2, and that's how you check your PERM processing times. Step 2 is the I-140. So Google I-140 processing time. And it should look like this when you get to the organic results, egov.dis.gov, and click on that. And it might ask you if you're a human. I was just on this page. This is in blue. Basically, it's just an internal workflow change that they made. So the Vermont Service Center is where the cases are kind of officially adjudicated. And so I'll show you what that means. Come down here to Form, check I-140. At EB3.Work, we focus on the unskilled worker category. There's also skilled worker or professional, which is E3.1, E3.2. Unskilled simply means that the employer's requirements for the position are under 2 years, so less than 2 years. So click on unskilled worker EW3, and then we don't need to really select anything. The only option is SCOPS, which is what this explanation is up top. Click Get Processing Time, and it tells us that about 80% of the cases, so the vast majority, are completed within 13.5 months. Now, there is, thankfully, a premium processing option for the I-140, and so although right now, which I'll explain in a minute, because of retrogression, premium processing for your I-140 does not speed up the overall time of the EB3 process. It just speeds up a section in the middle, but we still have to wait for your priority date to become current in order to complete and do the final step of the EB3 process, which is either adjustment of status or consular processing. So that's how you check the I-140 petition. Just Google I-140 processing time, click USCIS, and you will see that. Now for the final step, go to Google and type in Visa Bulletin, and we're going to check the priority date cutoffs. So the first result is U.S. Department of State, travel.state.gov, Visa Bulletin. This is what it looks like. And sometimes you see two bulletins, the October, which is the current one, November, which is the upcoming one. Today's October 19th, and around the middle of the month, the following one comes up. So we'll look at November because that is up next. And you'll scroll down, you'll see family sponsor preferences. Scroll down until you get to employment-based preferences. And then you'll see two tables. The first table is A, final action date. And the second table, oops, I went too far, is B, dates for filing. And in the third paragraph under B, dates for filing, you'll see a link to us.gov. Click on that, click go, come down to next month's adjustment of status filing charts, and you'll see for employment-based preference, for all employment-based preference categories, you must use the dates for filing chart for November 2025. So we'll come back here, and this is chart B, dates for filing. So if you're waiting to file your adjustment of status application, meaning you're in the US, like on an F1, F2, H4, H1B, H2B, etc., then this is the table that you look at. And under employment-based, you come down to the other workers category. And this is still third preference. It's a little deceiving the way that they don't have third here. This third is for skilled workers and professional. This row is for unskilled or other workers. And so a lot of people say, I thought this was third. It is third. It's just that they should put third for both, and they should indicate that this first one is skilled and professional. Anyway, so we're looking in the other workers row, and this is the cutoff. Now, you'll see that if you're born in China, mainland China, or India, that you've got longer backlogs. Mexico and the Philippines are the same as all other countries. And so what this means is that if your PERM was filed before December 1st, 2021, then you can apply for adjustment of status in the month of November 2025. So we check this every month. Like I said, the November Visa Bulletin came out at around the middle of October, second or third week in October. So that means you'll be ready to file adjustment of status November 1st or any day in November. Once you file your adjustment of status, it includes Form I-485. We can include the work permit I-765. That usually gets approved in about 3 months. And you can then start work based on that work authorization while you're waiting for your final adjustment of status EB3 green card to be approved. If you're doing consular processing, you still look at final action dates, and that will indicate when to expect your consular interview. So that is how you read the Visa Bulletin. Now, I promised I would show you a way in which you can speed up the processing time. So go back to EB3.Work, and in this banner up top, you'll see the Dignity Act of 2025. Click on that. The Dignity Act of 2025 is an immigration bill that aims to reduce the backlogs, the Visa Bulletin backlogs, modernize processing, and very importantly, strengthen America's workforce. So this was written by the office of Maria Salazar, who's a congresswoman representing Miami, Florida. It covers a lot of bottlenecks and problems. The one that's very important to the EB3 process, both applicants and employers, if you scroll down to benefits, the most important thing that it does is actually so currently each year the other worker category quota is at 10,000, so they can only issue 10,000 green cards, and they include dependents. So dependents are spouse and children under 21. So if I'm applying for EB3 and I'm married and I have 3 children, my spouse and my 3 children, that's 5 of us. That's 5 slots that get taken up out of the 10,000. What the Dignity Act would do is say, we're only going to count the whole family as one. So no matter if you're just one worker or you have a family of 10 people, a spouse and 8 children, for example, you still only get counted once. Just the family gets counted as one. And what that would do is greatly advance this date on the Visa Bulletin. And the reason is, you can kind of see, let's see if we can see that. Yeah, you can see the 10,000 EW numbers. So what that means is this date would move forward dramatically, which means that instead of taking, about 4 years, 48 months to get your EB3 approved, ideally, it should take no more than 24 months. So what you can do, anybody watching this, go to step 3, call the White House. This is the number. There's a little template that you could use Hi, my name is John, and you can say I'm an EB3 applicant or not. You can say I'm calling to ask the president to support the Dignity Act of 2025. It's HR Bill 4393. The current visa backlogs are extremely long and prevent workers from contributing to the U.S. economy, etc. You can say all of this or just part of this. But the most important thing is this. The most important thing to say is I'm calling to ask the president to support the Dignity Act of 2025, HR 4393. In our last meeting with Representative Salazar, Maria Salazar, that is what she asked all of the people attending her meeting to do. This was attended by restaurant associations, contractor associations, hotel industry associations. And so she said the more people that call the White House, the better. They will pay attention to it, and it will keep it front and center on the agenda. So that is what you could do. You could leave a message. Sometimes you could email them. They don't ask you what your status is. You're not really talking to anybody. You're leaving a message. So the more people that do that, the better. So that's the Dignity Act. Thank you so much for watching. Our goal at EB3.Work is to make sure that everybody who's interested in the EB3 program get fully educated. Make sure you get all your questions answered. If you're thinking on embarking on that, the program's not for everybody. It's not cheap. You have to be able to pay for your immigration attorney fees and government filing fees for your portion of the EB3 process. The employer's already paying for their portion. But if you're interested in being a permanent resident, and this is one of the options that you're looking at, we try to give a ton of information on our website, on our YouTube channel, on our socials that educate you on the process. And so if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. We'll do our best to answer them as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.